Hello, everybody.
Hey, and welcome back once again to the Brews,
And the Basement Podcast.
God damn, we're good.
I love it.
Shit.
Every time. I just
Right?
wait for it.
Yeah. Timing is everything.
Exactly.
But yeah, welcome back, everyone. For the people returning, we're glad to see you're back. And for all you new viewers and listeners, thanks for clicking in and deciding to join us today.
And for some reason, if this is your last time, we appreciate the time that you gave us.
Yeah, we do appreciate the time you've spent here.
That's Corey. I'm Dillon. And this is our podcast. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, see you later. We're done. That was it. It's really riveting.
Yeah, we got Bob Ross joining us.
Yeah, very special guest today. Bob Ross, only our second guest ever besides, well, actually, no, it's not true because Omar was on that one episode. I was going to say besides Kim.
Yeah, well, all right. Second guest ever.
Bob Ross.
Third guest ever, bobblehead Bob Ross.
Yeah, he's very lively.
Solar powered.
He's looking good.
He's nodding a little bit.
He's nodding
we
a
can
little bit,
see.
you know.
It's hard to see on
yeah,
camera.
we can zoom in on it.
We can. Episode 12. 10 and 11 are up. We had slowed down a bit. There were some illnesses / life happenings.
Yep.
/ just holiday season shit.
Yeah.
So
there's just, stuff happens. It's been a little trying to edit the episodes and get them up on time, so.
yeah, and as far as stuff happening, I currently have a broken left collarbone. Was playing football with my 4-year-old nephew and brother-in-law, and while I was trying to dominate, lost my balance and was going to fall on their patio, which is brick or paving stones or something like that, and to avoid falling on that, I lunged to the grass and then landed on my shoulder strictly. Which led to the breaking of the collarbone. So thankfully no surgery as far as now, and we're just healing. And it's been almost, 2 weeks today. It's been 2 weeks.
Damn, dude.
Feel pretty damn good, to be honest. That first week was...
rough, to say the least.
Yeah, it's pretty tough, and having to drive home. I'm a left-handed driver. And I had to only use my right hand because I can't, this is as high as I can lift my left arm, and I can't really come too far across my body. So
That's tough, man.
yeah. All things considered, though, if I don't end up having to need surgery, I think we're okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's a giant W.
I think
no
we're
matter how
okay.
you chalk it up, yeah.
It really doesn't hurt. I have to wear a sling when I sleep, which kind of blows, but, it is what it is.
Yeah. Man, I'm like, when you told me that via text, I was just like, I was baffled at work.
Yeah.
I was just like, what the fuck? Like, no way. What the fuck?
And I believe I've sent you the picture, so if we can, throw that picture up so people can see it. It's a fully displaced mid-shaft clavicle fracture.
Yeah, the x-ray, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not a
Yeah.
picture of me.
Yeah, well, I see that. You
I'm right
showed the
here.
Fucked up. You fucked up
Yeah.
skin. The bruising and everything.
No, I don't have any picture of that. I have some like big old yellow bruising right up here.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I feel pretty good. Obviously can't do anything physical. I'm not really lifting anything with this arm or doing anything like that. But I'm able to work. I'm able to function, I'd say about like 75% of what I usually would do. Fractures happen.
Yeah, I mean, usually happens at the most unsuspecting times, right? Or just injuries in general, especially.
Yeah.
I know that's happened to me. We can continue to discuss injuries. I mean, I've definitely had quite a few broken bones myself. You've probably gotten more based on the preliminary discussion we had before going on air here. But while we do that, or right before we do that, we can get into our beer of the week.
Beer of the fucking week.
Yes, it is
We
great
got
beer.
yes,
It is
wonderful.
going to be great beer. I
So
know.
we
I
got
can feel.
we got the Piff by 6 Point. 6 Point, local, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
You
Where
know,
Brooklyn at?
very close to home. I love 6 Point. They have amazing beers. They used to can a double IPA called Meltdown, which I really loved. They stopped canning that, I feel like, maybe 2 years ago. Or at least they don't sell it in the distributors I go to. Maybe
Yeah.
they still can it. I don't know. But I haven't had the Piff yet, and I know the Piff has been out for a while. And this time when I picked it up with a different six-pack, and I sent Corey a picture, and I said, what do you want?
Yeah.
So this is my selection slash Corey's selection as well.
Yeah. Right off the rip here. Piff, rip, yeah.
There you go.
Heyo. I mean, the artwork is non-existent. There's nothing like super creative or anything. Like I like the coloring for it. You know, obviously it
We'll
has
move
like
Bob
the picture
behind
of like
just for now.
the hop right on
Still see
on
his
here
head.
with the colors and everything. But I mean, it's probably still gonna be great. It doesn't always need to be super artistic and
So I would
out
say
there.
about 6 Point is this is like their standard artwork.
Yeah. It's
Um,
That's fine though. As long as
Yeah.
the beer's good, like it probably saves them money somehow too, and not having to like print so much crazy shit, right?
somehow.
Yeah.
Some way.
I feel like some way.
This is their standard artwork. Like I said, the reason I bring up the Meltdown is the Meltdown was also purple. It was also a double IPA. I think it was 8%. And this is a double IPA, purple, 8.5% or 8.6.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I
If
guess it's the replacement, or maybe it's like a tweaked version of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is-
No spillage today.
Yeah, I have to pour over here because I can't hold the mug that far in front of my my mic.
Oh no, that's just no good. All right, looking good so far. Put this to the side. I don't know if I can't remember like what other 6 Point beers I've had because I don't think I ever had the Meltdown. So
Yeah,
I'm familiar with the company, but I don't know if I've had any of their beers before.
you know it's interesting. There's Brooklyn Brewery, also in Brooklyn. They had Brooklyn Blast.
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn Blast. They stopped bottling it, and we went to a beer fest. You might have been there. I honestly don't remember. It might have just been
It might have just been
me
you and Eric,
Steve.
you and Eric,
Or
or
me
you
and
and
Eric.
Steve.
But I actually asked the guy, like, hey, why'd you guys stop bottling Brooklyn Blast? And he was like, it's too much money. It costs too much.
Shit's
So I wonder if Meltdown was the same, or the reason I think it wasn't is because
I'm just gonna keep mine over here. For
yeah,
now.
no problem. The
Yeah.
Piff is the same thing. It's as far as aesthetics and percentage and type of beer, it's exactly the same.
My OCD is kicking in right now. I was just like, hang on. Like both cans, like right there. I was like, it's gotta be neat.
And since we've had a good look at the artwork,
Yeah, Bob, put him up front and center, baby.
and now you can see his head shaking. All right, so
Shall we?
let's have a taste.
Cheers to you, my friend, and cheers to
Cheers.
all of you viewers/listeners at home or wherever you may be. Hopefully, you're enjoying a nice cold one like we are. Ooh. Ooh.
Very nice.
I like wanted to burp there and it wouldn't come out. You know, for a double, I was expecting it to be a little heavier.
And it's not bitter at all.
No. Wow.
It's not bitter at
That's
all.
kinda
It's a-
shocking,
It's a
honestly.
very good beer.
Yeah. I mean, I had like 4 little chugs right here.
This is why Kim's going to pick me up later. It's because you're not going to be driving me home.
You know what's funny is sometimes too, like when we have the beer, like you initially have a couple sips, and then like sometimes your opinion kind of changes on like the further you get down or further into it.
Yeah.
Kind of like when we had the Atomic Pumpkin one,
Mm-hmm.
because at first it's like, okay, it's like it was spicy and everything, and you're
Then
like, okay,
the more we had it, I felt like the jalapeno.
yeah,
took over.
the worse it got. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, by the time I reached the middle, I was just like, I don't think I like this at all.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel like it's hard to rate off of the first initial couple sips, but this one I'm feeling pretty confident about, in that I could solidly rate this and not have any kind of like, fluctuation in my opinion.
So I'm going to rate it. It's going to be a rating that we've never had on the podcast before.
Oh, no. I mean, it's probably a good one, I'm sure, but.
It is equivalent to the alcohol percentage, 8.6.
8.6. Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So here's my
It's got to
thing.
be one of our highest, right? I believe.
I think we gave a 9 to one of the Voodoo Rangers.
Yeah.
If I don't know why I just sounded like that.
If I
if I remember correctly.
oh gosh,
Yeah.
let me look back at my calculations.
So my thing with a lot of IPAs, especially double and triple IPAs, is there's a lot of places that make doubles and triples that I feel like look at it and go, how bitter can we make it?
Yeah.
Right? And I don't mind bitter beers, but it's like you have enough doubles and triples that are just massively bitter, and I get enough of it. It's enough, and this, I don't feel like there's bitterness at all. And it might be just because I drink IPAs, not exclusively.
He's not married to it.
Like I can taste there is a hint of bitterness in there, but as far as double IPAs go, I think it's pretty smooth. Like you said, not very heavy.
Yeah, it doesn't taste very heavy at all. I was expecting it to be more bitter and heavy than it is.
Right.
It's
Very
smooth.
drinkable beer. And 6 point, I mean, they're not super expensive. Like I bought a 6 of this and a 6 of I bought the Mary, what was it? Mary IPA from Victory, or Mary something from Victory. And the 2 6-packs, considering those Victory 6-packs go for like $18 or like $19. Those 2 6-packs were like $30. So $15 a 6-pack.
You're getting your money worth though for the quality. I haven't
That's the
had
thing.
the
Is
other
this is
one,
a really
obviously,
good beer. I've always wanted to go to the brewery itself. 6 Point. It's just going to fucking Brooklyn. It's a disaster.
All right, so you gave it an 8.6.
I gave it an 8.6 because I would have honestly given it an 8.5. But when I saw the alcohol
8.6,
percentage,
yeah,
I was like, I got to do it.
All right, I like that. I'm gonna give it an 8. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Definitely better than most of the beers we've had on
For
here
sure.
so far. I don't know if my opinion will change, but it doesn't. I don't think it's going to.
Yeah.
It's been great. It's just smooth. I don't know. It's surprising to me. I don't.
Very smooth. Not bitter at all. So to sidetrack here, Montauk, right?
Yep, sure.
Montauk
Had plenty of
Brewery,
them.
obviously Eastern Long Island, probably like fucking 2.5 hours east.
Keeping it local.
A few months ago, so Montauk has a beer called Wave Chaser.
Love it.
They came out with a beer called Major Wave Chaser.
There it is.
It's the double IPA version. And very similar. Purple can. But the Montauk are tall boys. And I think they're 9.2%. and they only sell, as far as right now, I can only find them in individual cans. For tall boys, they're about $4 a can, $4.50 a can. I finally tracked down some cans that I could buy because every time I went, they were sold out.
Nothing, huh?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's so many places are trying to get them that Montauk is not able to support the demand, or if they're deliberately diminishing the supply to drive the demand. Either way.
Yep, I mean.
So Superstar here, up by the mall, they were like, we get our deliveries on Monday. So I called them like 2 or 3 Mondays ago, and I said, you guys get it in? They said, yep. And I was like, great. I went there on my lunch, picked up 4 cans. That Major Wave Chaser double IPA, very similar thing, where though that one felt heavier as far as drinking it, the double IPA is less bitter than the regular Wave Chaser. I feel like it tastes better. It's smoother. It's very similar to this.
That's not what you'd expect at all.
You would expect
right?
a double to be very, very
Strong,
bitter.
Yeah, much stronger.
But it's same thing. I mean, I don't know what the just the regular IPA version of this is, if it even exists. But Montauk, with their double IPA, they kind of tailed away from the bitterness. Very smooth, where I feel like over the last handful of years, double IPAs have been very, very bitter, and they try to, just like, I almost feel like breach like sour beer level.
Yeah, I'm not a huge sour beer lover, and I know you're not.
As
either.
We discussed, I'm not either.
Only our friend Eric, pretty much, in our group of friends, I believe.
Yeah, and he's somebody. We love you, Eric.
Yeah, maybe it's because it's also like it's a hazy double IPA, and like
maybe
the
haziness.
I think the haziness probably factors in somehow because, the hazy Voodoo Ranger is one of our favorites.
Yeah, and
it has been for a while.
I would also say like the Sierra Nevadas, like they have that whole hazy line, like hazy little thing, hazy big hazy IPA or hazy big thing, I can't remember. They have the tropical thing, and like that whole line, like the hazies, maybe they nerf the bitterness. I don't know.
I'm not sure what it is about it, but like even though this is it is hazy, right? It has it in the name. It's still a double IPA, so you would think that even though when I think hazy, I think of kind of like more of a not, and it's not very strong, like not bitter. It's more of almost like, I don't want to say like a juice kind of like drink, because it's really not. But I just think of it as more like relaxed and like easy flowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And for this, I feel like, to me, I mean, 2 beers, and I'm gonna be good.
Yeah. We already, like we always do before our normal ritual,
yes,
like we said,
did go to Six
we went to
Harbors.
Six Harbors beforehand, and here we are bringing you guys another episode.
I got since we go there, I get points through the Arrived app, because that's the what is the station called that you pay at? Is that a POS? I think.
I have no idea.
Whatever that's called. I've
know what
watched
you mean,
Bar
though,
Rescue enough. You would think
yeah.
I would know, because Kim puts that on all the time. And, watching John Taffer scream and almost have an aneurysm every show is
show.
Wild.
That is the show.
But I think it's a POS. They use Arrived, and because
it's not a piece of shit.
No, I think it's like point of service or something.
Yeah.
But I got a beer for free today, which was nice.
Always a plus.
But I think this beer is damn good. So like I said, I'm going to go 8.6 on the alcohol percentage on the Bob Ross.
Yep, 8 for me. on the hazy Dippa, the Piff.
Congratulations, 6-point.
You won.
So I did want to move into video games. Corey, I told you I did find a new game. And like I said, it's not new to the gaming world. I believe it came out this year, but it is new to me because it was on sale on Black Friday. I bought Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh man! For a second there, I almost thought you were gonna say the game that I'm gonna eventually bring up to you to that's similar to what you
we'll
like.
Get
I
there.
think. Yeah, but I was like, oh my god, is he gonna say it because of Black Friday sale? But okay, I know it. I never played it really. But
so what's so interesting is I bought the PlayStation 4 a few years ago, the holiday season leading into the PS5 release, because they had the PlayStation 4 on sale.
Okay.
And it was the PS4 with 3 games. The 3 games were The Last of Us, God of War, and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Probably like their 3 biggest games on that.
Played
console.
Last of Us. Loved the first game, beat it. I'm not sure if we've discussed the second game on here. If we have, great. If we haven't, then we need to set aside a different time for that.
A whole separate episode just for that.
Played God of War, loved it. The new one just came out, Ragnarok. Played it, beat it, loved it. We'll play the next ones. We'll buy a new system to play that franchise.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn. I first started playing it and played it for 20, 30 minutes and was like, I don't understand this shit, and put it down. And then didn't touch it for probably a solid year.
Okay. All right.
Picked it back up, started playing it again, got very into it, beat the whole game, and then I wanted to play Forbidden West. But when it came out, it was $70, and I can never justify spending $70 on a game, especially the way games come out now. They come out broken. They need patches.
Yep,
the first 3-4 months, just all the games end up getting patched, and you get what should be the final product 6 months after the game gets released.
It's a damn shame.
So it just so happened on Amazon, I saw Horizon Forbidden West on sale for $30. And maybe that's not even on sale. Maybe that's what it's going for right now. But I picked it up, and I totally forgot. Louis Riddick, whatever his last name was.
Okay.
He was a character in it.
Oh, wait, Lance?
Oh, Lance,
yeah,
not Louis.
I'm like Louis.
Cut that out. Check. Cut. Sorry, I thought his name was Lance.
Oh, yeah, so Lance Reddick did a voice for one of the characters.
No, he's not even a voice. They use his likeness.
Oh, okay. All right.
They use his likeness in the first one. His likeness is in this one.
But he doesn't voice the person?
No, he's the voice, too.
Oh, okay.
He's
it's
everything.
Him,
it's just it's him.
Right.
His the character's name is Silence, and he was someone who helped you out in the first one. I'm only about...
It's me in the fields just thinking about
I
him
know.
right
I
now.
watch The Wire every day, and every time I see him, it's like, man, we need Lance back.
And we talked about this separately at the brewery. We were talking about Destiny.
Oh, yeah.
Randomly, and he's one of the main characters in Destiny. So actually, when I hadn't logged on to Destiny in a really long time, and I logged on after that, and there's you can interact with his character at the hub, the main hub of the game or whatever, and people were just there, and you can do different emotes in the game, so you
right.
bow down or celebrate, and I can't tell you how many fucking players there were just there worshiping him. It was one of those things where it's just it really is just a heartwarming moment, and touching, and almost made me legitimately cry, because I'm just man.
Well, I mean, we can get lost on
yeah, I don't want to
Lance Reddick.
Yeah, I don't want to deter from the point, but
I will say the first time I ever, because I didn't watch The Wire until a couple of years ago. I saw him for the first time really in Fringe.
Oh, Fringe. I was talking about that yesterday with
And
with
Fringe is like it's like a wild sci-fi
David.
kind
Oh
of.
God, it dives
gets
into every
so
sci-fi trope
crazy.
you could possibly imagine.
So that's where I
It's very
first saw
confusing.
him, and then obviously he's in the Keanu Reeves movies,
Yes, John Wick.
John Wick. I believe he's like the concierge.
I was gonna
of
say, yeah, I
the-
couldn't because it's been a little bit, but I was gonna say concierge was the first thing that came
I don't
into
think
my mind.
concierge is the right term for what his character was, but
Yeah.
he's kind of like the receptionist is also wrong, but he's like the guy that mans the front desk.
Yeah,
But he's much more than that.
yeah, he is much
Um,
more than that for sure. But
yeah, so Lance Reddick is a guy named Silence. So in the beginning of the second game, you think you beat this mythical thing in the first game called Hades, which we all know what Hades is.
sure,
But then you find out that Silence, instead of killing it, he transferred it to a different area in the world so he could study it and learn it.
of course.
And he transferred it to the Forbidden West. And your character, Aloy, she's like, I gotta find you and I gotta kill you, and this is terrible. And he was like, well, here's my coordinates, and how about you come here and learn what I learned before you get all hasty and kill me.
I feel like that's always the first step towards like the evil path, right? It's like, oh,
So-
let's study it and do this. And
I'm
do that,
only
and
I'm
keep it
only
alive.
like I'm only 35 40 minutes into
Yeah.
the game, cuz there's a whole prequel before you get to that. You're trying to find a replica of this. So do you know anything about the game at all?
I mean, like I have like a very vague,
All right, so
you know,
I'm
like
gonna I'm gonna very much long story short this.
yeah,
There is a woman that existed thousands of years ago that created this thing to help humanity prosper. And the main character that you are was created by machines from her DNA. So you are a
Terminator.
exact replica. You're not a machine.
I know.
The girl is she's a human,
He's a human.
but she is a direct replica of this woman. And she has her exact DNA.
She
She
looks
was
like-
created by machines. She doesn't have parents. She was outcasted as a kid. And she's only like 14 or 15. She's I believe.
Yeah,
Do
don't
not
don't
kill
kill
me.
him. She kind of reminds me of the girl from Game of Thrones, the one that Jon Snow fell in love with, the wildling.
Daenerys. Oh no,
No, the wildling.
Rose.
Yeah, I feel like not exactly, but like to me, like that's where my mind goes
It's-
for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's almost a similar story. I imagine Aloy's gonna live instead of just.
Well, yeah,
You know.
yeah, yes.
But
I mean, unless they take a real sharp turn somewhere.
yeah, I mean, well, the game would be pretty short at that point.
Yeah, I mean, look what The Last of Us did, though. Right?
Wow.
So
I mean,
You never
again,
know.
That's a different episode.
you never know how savage are the creators.
So, at the point where I'm at is, what's cool is you play the prequel. To end the prequel, you basically play like a mini boss,
Okay.
but they make it a little bit easier because it's like not the prequel. It's like the beginning of the story before you get to the main story. I don't know what that's called. But at this point, I'm at the point where I'm traveling.
Prologue, I guess.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
don't know.
traveling west now. I'm Aloy. And I'll be honest, it's nice to pick up a game where I've already played the first part. Because I didn't necessarily want to find a new game.
Yeah, like and start from the beginning, I guess. I mean, I guess it depends on
I don't
what it
know.
is.
I mean,
but
I don't know. I've been looking for a game for such a
you
long
seem
time.
to like action adventure kind of games.
I like campaigns.
Yeah,
I'm not looking for first-person shooters.
yeah. Well, I mean, exactly.
You know, like I don't like Call of Duty and all that shit. Like I don't care about that. I'll always play Gears. When Gears 6 comes out, I'll play that.
That's
But-
that's like one of the only shooters, and it's a third person, so it's still not an FPS technically.
Right. And I still get a pretty good campaign out of it.
Exactly.
And I've played the last 3, so
Yeah,
I'm
so
tied
you're
into the story.
you're like you're invested in the
So
the
with
franchise.
this, it's like I enjoy that I get to continue the story that we were on previously. The game is good. The only thing that I was hoping, which I didn't get, but I also understand why, is I thought I was going to get a older Aloy,
Okay.
right? Like a few years, because I think she's only in her teens in the first game.
Okay.
But this game takes place just 6 months later,
Oh, all right.
right? Because the
Yeah,
ending
like-
happened. Silence, Lance Reddick did what he did.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say
then-
I would wonder how long you could keep that really under wraps.
Right.
From
And
somebody.
literally when you're Aloy and you discover what he did, he comes out in a hologram and goes, "I can't believe it took you this long." like he makes fun of you that it took you forever,
To
even though
notice.
it was only 6 months. So I get why you don't get an older character, but I was kind of hoping we were going to get like the young woman. And granted, at this point, as far as life experience, she's a young woman, but I'm talking like age-wise.
Yeah.
But still, she they upped her weapons. Like again, I already have 3 weapons.
The sequel's always got to be bigger and
You know,
better.
they up they up the weapons. You know, the prologue is basically your reminder of how to kill machines, how to take machines over, how to, you know, the way you can strategize to get by machines if you
Sure.
can't fight.
Yeah, because
like-
it's still an open world game, right?
Right.
So it's you know,
I'm very excited. I'm happy I found a new game. I'm gonna try not to beat it so quickly, but I imagine it'll be something I beat pretty quickly.
yeah. Well, I know you're not a big side quest like enthusiast.
Not on the first time.
Yeah, because you want to experience. And honestly, I respect that you are that way, because I feel like you can experience what the actual campaign is, you know, like way better than if you're like me and many of the other gamers out there in the world, where you want to like level up your character and do every side quest possible. You could spend hours and hours and hours, and sometimes they have side quests that never end, and you'll
Right.
just totally miss out on like the flow of the actual gameplay experience of the campaign.
And that's why I like to play the campaign start to finish
And then just
and not really do the side quests. And even once you get past that prologue, once you get into the first village, there's 6 or 7 side quests where you can get lost. You know, you can get lost very quickly.
Yeah, that's why open girl. Oh, open girl. What the
Open
fuck?
girl.
Open girl. Oh my god. What kind of game is this that I'm creating? I don't
What
know.
OnlyFans is that?
It's the one for people like me. It's who have been single for far too long. No, I was gonna say that's the problem with like the open world gameplay experience, though, is because it's like there's so much to do, and for people like me, it's like I want to do all that stuff and like level up and get all that, so it makes the game easier. But it's almost why I kind of like linear games better, because there is like a very small, in some cases, like you can like have a tiny open world gameplay for it.
Yeah.
Like just to collect things and level up and stuff like that. But it always keeps you grounded to the actual like main story. So it's kind of like that is like the real trade-off of.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at getting the second Plague Tale because I played the first one.
Yeah, I
Speaking
still have
of
to beat.
linear
I still have to beat the
games.
first one. This is gonna tie together later, but keep going.
Okay. Speaking of linear games, because Plague Tale is linear.
It is.
Like, you have your
it's a great
storyline,
narrative.
and that's it. It's a great storyline, the first one, but the second one was still like full price.
Yeah.
I'm not paying $70 for a game. I'm just not doing it. So, I'm gonna play this Horizon start to finish, just the campaign.
And
That's
then you're
that's
gonna
what
worry
I'm
about
gonna
the
do.
side quests.
And then what's funny is, before I play Horizon again and play the side quests, is I'll go back to God of War, because I haven't played God of War a second time.
Okay.
To do all the side quests.
Try
there.
to break up the monotony sometimes.
Yeah. So that is the new game that I have, and when I bought it, I was just like, let's go. Finally, like, I've
Finally
needed
something
a new.
you're interested
Yeah,
in,
because
and you could soak some time into.
it was a lot of UFC 4, and I have my own personal issues with EA and
Sure.
their games.
We could spend a whole episode talking about that.
Yeah.
We talked about it at the
It was
brewery a little bit.
UFC 4 and this fucking golf game that I play, which also has its own issues. It's 2K, and
Okay. Take two.
yeah, right. And on Xbox, I don't even know that I have a game on Xbox right now.
Okay. Yeah,
But
I was going to
anyway.
say, I've seen you on PlayStation, but I haven't seen you on Xbox.
Yeah,
in a
I go
while,
on
so-
Xbox to do NHL here and there.
Yeah.
But overall, I don't have anything on Xbox. But you said you had a game.
So this is all going to tie together now because
Thankfully.
because the game that I bought recently was on sale for $30 on Black Friday, which I'm planning on doing like a review for the game or whatever on the channel here. But I think that it's a game that you should buy on sale because I don't think it's worth full price. However, it's made by the same company that did Plague Tale, which I
Okay.
believe is like Focus. It's like Focus Entertainment or whatever, which I'm pretty sure is like, if you've ever seen like the Focus feature films or whatever, it's like it's the same company that does that, but it's their gaming like side developer or whatever. So they made a game called Evil West.
Okay.
Which is a Western vampire shooter. It's like an action-adventure
Okay.
game that plays like Darksiders, which you probably haven't
Never
played.
heard of.
So, but Darksiders is basically, I don't want to say it's a knockoff, but it is a replica, clone, whatever you want to call it, of like God of War.
Okay.
So it plays very much the same way, except obviously, you're playing as a cowboy. There's guns, there's crossbows. You use your fists and like specific you have like a gauntlet on your arm that can be like electrified to like do like melee combos and stuff like that, and just do a whole bunch of crazy things, right? The story, it already sounds ridiculous, right? Like you're a vampire hunter in the 1800s. It's basically, if you've ever seen or heard of the movie Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Yes. I knew that's where you were going the second you said vampire hunter in the 1800s.
Yeah. Like, how could you not make that, that comparison, right? So it's basically, I call it a companion piece to that because it's a little further along in the timeline because Taft is the president.
Okay.
But you basically play as a guy who's like the son of the Rentier Institute who, works side by side with like the White House with taking care of like the vampires who are obviously, like a secret,
Right.
part of society that nobody knows about or whatever. And it's just a fun like action adventure, like shoot 'em up, third person, like bulky characters, like Gears of War kind of game where you get like a ton of powers. The gameplay is like really fun and addicting. They've pretty much focused on that, I think, because the story is kind of a very on the surface experience where I don't think it delves too deep as far as like the mythology and stuff like that. It's like I said, it's a very on the surface experience. There's not a lot of emotional investment for like the characters or anything like that. It's just kind of really focused on gameplay and just having fun, like mindless killing,
Yeah.
But I feel like it's exactly what you would enjoy though.
I enjoy
Especially
that.
considering you like God of War, you enjoy Plague Tale. It's the same developers and stuff. So like the graphics are incredible. It's like very cinematic experience.
I'm a big campaign guy. I've never been a huge fan of multiplayer. Mainly because I don't like playing with randos.
Yeah, I mean that's
and
the
it's
big
hard
problem.
to get like even with two people to get one of your friends to be ready to game at the time that you're ready to play.
It's difficult
At this time in our life.
And actually after I beat the game, I found out that it was cooperative, so you could
Okay.
actually play with a friend. Unfortunately, it's the system that they implemented for the game is kind of old school. So it's like when you join your friend's game, whoever the host is the only one that can progress the campaign progress,
yeah. Okay.
and you don't get to keep any of your skills if you're the other player.
Oh, because it's on their game.
Yeah,
I don't know if everyone heard that because it's on their game.
Yeah, so it's kind of shitty in that sense. I never expected the game to be co-op. Not that I would have had anybody to play with anyways, but yeah, I think it's worth it if you wait for it to be on sale for like really cheap. I don't think that it's
What
worth
is the name again?
Evil West.
Evil West.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth it if you're paying $30 or less, like I did, or if you are a Microsoft Rewards member, you can get games for free. I'm going to be posting a video pretty soon about that.
You should check that
You should
out.
definitely check that out. I'm going to teach you how to basically farm for free money on Microsoft, and keep you updated on that because it just recently changed over again. So, yeah.
Okay.
But I definitely think it's worth it if you're looking for a fun action-adventure game that obviously this is what I feel like is tailored right.
Okay.
You,
I mean,
so.
I'm down with that. I always like games with great campaigns.
Yeah.
Which is why the last Call of Duty I played was Ghosts. I don't know how long ago that was.
Oh my God!
It's
I feel like
quite
Ghosts
some
was
time.
like I want to say like 2014.
And I'll never forget the ending. You shoot the guy. He looks like he drops dead. This is a guy you just shot in the chest, by the way. Shot him in the
walk it off.
chest.
It's fine. It's totally good.
You go and help whoever the fuck for whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I don't really remember the ending.
Right? Like something like blows up. You're like beat to shit. And then the guy you just killed comes back and beats the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, that's the end of Call of Duty for me. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it depends on the. I mean, I could spend a whole episode on that too.
I know.
It depends on the developer. Yeah.
I get it. Trust me. EA Sports, I get it.
Yeah, it's in the game.
Sure. I mean, I don't know that it is in the game. I've seen a lot of games that shit ain't there.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's go back briefly because I know originally we opened up with obviously your broken collarbone.
Yes.
We can talk about injuries briefly.
Can't see it.
Yeah, I don't really have like
pretty yellow.
I don't really have a ton to contribute, but I thought it would just be like a fun talking point considering it's related. I could share my pain with you. So I mean, like I broke my arm 3 times, like when I was younger.
I'm with you.
I'm lucky enough to only remember one of them. So so I broke my arm twice when I was like very, very young. Like too young to remember. I think one of the times I fell out of a chair. Like probably, like kids like to climb up on things. I probably climbed up on a chair down here, fell on the cement floor that's right underneath us,
Yeah.
and broke my arm. And the first time, I think I fell off the step, like the first step. But I again, that would be same thing, right? Cement floor. I don't really remember. And then the only time that I remember like very well is that it was like getting later at night, and my mom used to work like overnight shifts, so I was waiting for her to come home, and my dad would let me like stay up late. We would watch, like whatever he wanted to watch, right? So it would be like a horror movie or like whatever.
Of course.
So I feel like it was some like shitty B horror movie. that we were watching, and then he was chasing me around the room like one of the zombies, like from the movie, and I tripped because my shoelace was untied, and I just remember like diving, like kind of like you did on the concrete floor, and having my arm be like over here and just like landing, and then just bawling, crying because I broke my arm and I had to go to the emergency room. And that was the only time I really remember going to the doctor afterwards and having like the cast on my arm and everything. And my dad was just like, yeah, you see this doctor that took care of me when I was a kid or whatever. I'm just like, this guy's like 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
How does he know what to do? But yeah, I mean, I've only broken 3 bones. I've had a couple of like hairline fractures in my fingers from playing basketball.
Well, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, but that you're bound to get a couple of jammed fingers, unfortunately.
So bones, I have 3 wrists, 2 feet, 2 knuckles. Which the knuckles I never actually like went and did anything about it, but when it rains they swell like a lot.
Like crazy?
Yeah, not like crazy to where like you can see them from a distance.
It's like, wow, your fucking right fist is huge.
Yeah,
bro.
no,
like,
they're not that bad, but I
like
I can feel them. So I have 3 wrists, 2 feet, 2 knuckles. Obviously my collarbone. I'm missing something. I broke something else. I can't remember. Mainly just because I was, I was the kid that was like, if Batman can fly, I'm going to jump off the steps.
Or you're like Steve, you're like the fucking Ninja Turtles, you're jumping down like 88 steps.
Like the first time I broke my right wrist, I think my mom said I was 3 or 4 years old, and I jumped off the top of our family friend's basement steps trying to fly as Batman.
God.
And their basement was just like your basement, except instead of the vinyl flooring, they had very thin carpet over the
at
cement.
the time I had very thin
carpet.
Right,
so it was the same thing, and I landed right on my wrist, broke it.
Yeah.
Broken bones happen. It's just that at my age, the second I landed when I broke my collarbone, I knew it was broken before like I finished landing. Because I felt it and I heard it.
Yeah. What did it sound like?
It literally,
just like a snap sound?
When when you have turkey and you break the drumstick off of the thigh, it sounded like that. But it just felt like something was snapping under my skin. But what's crazy is I didn't feel a damn thing. Like, it didn't hurt.
Yeah.
I knew it was broken, so, like, my body went into, survival mode. And my brother-in-law was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, my collarbone's broken. And I looked at him, I was like, "I have to go home." Because I was, 3 hours away. So I was like, gotta go home, get this, that, blah, blah,
when
blah.
you had told me that, too, at first, it didn't click, like, in my mind where you were. And then I was like, oh, this was the trip you had been telling me about that you were going to go.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, that sucks that it didn't even happen, like, here where you could go to, like,
So in my mind, I'm thinking, like, might need surgery, might need this, might need that. I need to see a doctor at home. And thankfully, my brother-in-law's aunt, I believe, has been a nurse upstate for years.
Okay.
So he called her and was like, "What do we do?" And she was like, "Call this number." And we called whatever number that was. My brother-in-law did all of this. Because, I'm sitting there going, it's broken. It's moving my arm in, like, crazy positions that I probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But I was like, Kim, feel this.
I mean, you also probably had some adrenaline going.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, because of that.
And
no doubt.
So my brother-in-law calls this orthopedic office. Jeez, and they were like, all right. I
can't even imagine.
If you can get here in 25 minutes, we can see you. And he was like, oh my God, is it that urgent? And the woman was like, no, the doctor wants to go home, so get here.
I mean, that is urgent.
So we got there, and he goes, yeah, I would do surgery on this. And I was like, well, I'm not from here, so let me go home.
Yeah, get your second opinion.
And then
from
when
your
I
own
went home,
doctors.
he was like, nah, I wouldn't do surgery. We'll let it heal, and we'll see what happens, which I'm a fan of. But either way, I mean, it's unfortunate that it happened, but it's just kind of, it's life, right? I spent
life, unfortunately.
I spent a good 30 minutes kind of beating myself up, being like, man, if I just decided to not run or run in a different direction or this or that.
But you could go down that rabbit hole and drive yourself
insane.
insane.
And you know what I did?
Yeah.
I did for 45 minutes just because I'm my father's son. That's what
I get it. Believe
that's what
me.
he does. So
I get it.
So it's almost
Textbook overthinker
it's just
right here.
bred into me.
Yeah.
Whenever some shit happens like that, I look back and go, what could I have done to make this happen differently?
I feel like that's a natural response to the situation.
Of course.
Because when I split my head open up here, I kept thinking back to the moment, and I'm like, if Rosie never moved her leg, what would have happened? You know what I mean? What would have happened to her? So you go back and forth and you think about all the different things that could have happened if I didn't jump on CJ, if his knee didn't buckle, if she didn't move her knee.
But then, my sister said, she was like, all right, well, you landed on the grass and you broke your collarbone. But what if you landed somewhere else?
Yeah,
what if you hit the steps?
Yeah, how much
And
worse
I was
would it have
been? Man, I could have broken multiple bones, and then I'm stuck in the hospital.
Yeah, got a concussion,
shit could have went
open,
crazy.
deep,
so
yeah.
As much as I sat there for a good 45 minutes. I repeatedly apologized to Kim. I was like, I can't believe I let this happen. This is terrible. Why would I do this? And she was like, relax. Will you relax? Don't beat yourself up. Shit just happens sometimes.
It's true. It does.
But yeah, I mean, broken bones, I've done a lot. Plenty of fractures, plenty of sprains, plenty of it all.
Yeah.
But to be fair, this is probably
a great segue.
The easiest one. Go ahead.
No, okay. Well, I thought you were going to say, speaking of broken bones, this is a great segue into our next topic, which is, I don't know which one we were doing. So we have wrestling and hockey.
I was going to go into wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, you could go either one.
I thought you had something in mind, so I was like, hockey. No wrestling. So Randy Orton came back.
He sure did. Survivor Series 2023. Randy Orton came back. It's funny how they had teased him originally in a very minute way, and then by the end of Raw, Cody Rhodes made it very abundant that it was Randy Orton.
So my question to you is, how many years has this War Games thing been going?
So War Games was created by Cody Rhodes' dad, Dusty Rhodes. I want
years ago at this point.
Many years ago. I couldn't tell you the year. I want to say the late 80s, maybe around when we were born, maybe the 90s. But yeah, they only brought it back to WWE a couple of years ago, and they've been doing the War Games match instead of the traditional Survivor Series elimination.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah, you got to change it up every now and again. The Survivor Series elimination has been around for how many years now? Since we've been watching
30.
when we were still in high school. So
it's been longer than that.
Probably longer than that, but it's been a really long time.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see a fresh change, and obviously a double ring and a cage around it sounds really appealing with weapons being thrown in there. So I think they've
I
done
wasn't
it the
a
past,
huge
like 2 or 3
fan
years.
of the metal connector between the rings, but I
yeah.
understand why it needs to be there.
It's a weapon. Yeah, like
It's a weapon, but also as far as
support
safety,
structure,
right?
yeah.
Like safety wise, you need to make sure the rings aren't going to move. And if you have two athletes, because you saw like the suplex happen on that portion
Yeah.
multiple times, you have two athletes landing together. If the rings aren't connected, you risk them separating.
Yeah,
You
and
can't
you
do
don't
that.
want to fall between.
No.
They had that incident in this is, like there is no two rings, right? But there was an incident in AEW where Bryan Danielson had gotten his leg caught right between the ramp where you would run down to the ring.
The elevated
Yeah,
ramp
the elevated
and the
ramp
ring.
and the ring. So like that's a good example. I feel like that's a good example of why that kind of
I
thing.
never understand why they did the elevated ramp, but
Yeah.
that's besides
That's
the point.
it's
Which
besides
shows
the
you
point, but
why,
it's dumb.
like, you need to. There has to be, safety measures in place, and
for that.
as much as I don't like the connector, it's there for safety because if someone falls between that, that's a problem.
That's a problem. Yeah.
That's a safety problem.
But I like how the wrestlers that were in the match were able to like utilize it as like a weapon and kind of incorporate it into
Yeah.
the story. It's like, oh, this is like getting suplexed on the outside of the ring. It's exposed steel. Like there's no give in this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I did really like that. But yeah, I think the War Games have, as far as I know, have only been around maybe 2 to 3 years. I think they were doing it in NXT before they brought it to the main roster. So I had watched last year's Survivor Series and only this year's as well. So I only have 2 years to compare it to. I think the women's match last year, which Damage Control was in, but some different people were a part of it. I think that women's match last year was way better than this year's. I think this year's
this year had some struggles.
Yeah, we were texting back and forth on Saturday when it had happened, and I just thought, that it was a sloppy match all around.
So, the one spot, and you already know what I'm going to bring up.
Yeah.
Is I don't remember who ducked down to their knees, but someone ducked down to their knees for a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
But the extinguisher was a second late.
Yeah, it was very late.
So it was like whoever it
second's
was.
being generous. I think it was leaving later. Than
Yeah,
that.
it was like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
The person who ducks down, and the person expecting the fire extinguisher
I
started.
feel like it was like Shotzi, and then Bianca Belair was supposed to fire extinguisher whoever it was. I don't remember.
It's possible. To be fair, I didn't know. I would say half that match were wrestlers that I were not aware of.
Yeah.
But whoever ducked down, the person expecting the extinguisher started to react.
It was Asuka, I think.
And then the
She went to do
extinguisher,
the poison mist.
the extinguisher came like a second later.
Yeah.
And it was, to me, like that whole match. That was one of the main spots, and they were late.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can have giant matches, and you can have mini spots and little things that don't go right, but the major spots need to be right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the highlight, I guess you could say, of the match, which we had, again, we were texting back and forth about it, was the Io Sky trash can crossbody off of the top of the cage.
Yeah.
And it went smoothly. It looked good. But, obviously being old school wrestling fans, we immediately talk about how safe it is in comparison to people like Jeff Hardy and Kurt Angle who were flying off the... First of all, Jeff Hardy doing a whisper in the wind off the top of the cage, flipping around and doing like a 360.
And he landed between Matt Hardy and I don't remember who the other one was.
That
was the crazy thing is that was a move that was supposed to land, right? He was supposed to hit somebody, and he landed in between them, and they both just fell over.
Yeah.
So he took that entire bump on his upper spine
Yeah, just no big deal, right? Like that's
is crazy.
fake that. And then I also had brought up like the Kurt Angle moonsault, like
The
from
moonsault off the top of the
off the
cage.
top. I'm just like because especially it is. I think I made
And you
that.
can also look at Kurt Angle's entire run in TNA.
Oh yeah, because
I mean, like he
he's done
did
some crazy
so
shit.
much crazy shit there.
Yeah, and I think I had made that specific point because of the Charlotte Flair spot where she did the moonsault,
Where she
off
landed
the
on
top.
them, on her feet.
She literally did a full moonsault, but landed on her feet and kicked whoever that was, Io Sky, I think it was, like right in the face because of she landed feet first as opposed to not, trying to land on your feet and just like trusting the people below you to catch you and landing like, belly first.
Well, it's also the fact that WWE wants their wrestlers taking less insane bumps, right? Because
I mean, I get it. But I feel
I fully get it.
Yeah, I feel like landing on your
it.
belly in that scenario would be less
but like
brutal on everybody, though.
Look at who pushed Shane McMahon off of the rafters where he landed flat. He fell like 40 feet
So that
30 feet.
So that was like SummerSlam,
Was
and that was Steve Blackman.
Oh, it was Steve Blackman.
He hit him with the kendo
He hit him
stick,
with the kendo
and then
stick.
he fell
Oh, so he
off.
didn't push him.
Yeah.
Hit him with the kendo stick. He still fell 25, 30 feet.
Yeah, and even if
maybe even more, and lands flat on his back. Even if he lands in padding, if you don't land right,
yeah, that's still insane.
it's still
like you could tell me to do that,
bad.
and I'd want a lot of money to do that,
right.
a lot, and I'd need a lot of reassurance that is very secure down below.
It's just a change in time.
It really is. It really is a change in time. I know we started this about Randy Orton, but we will get there because we
can go back.
Then it became about War Games. I wanted to touch on how bad I thought the women's match was this year compared to last year.
There were some, right. So we were talking about the fire extinguisher.
Yeah,
there were some rough points.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of rough points. Like I don't have anything against like the women's matches. I love them, but I do think this one was just worse than the previous year. The men's match.
I have no reference of the previous year, but I thought your main spot is the fire extinguisher, and
it is,
and they
it
were
sets up
late
for the big finish,
and they were late. Right, so being late on your main spot leading into the whole finishing sequence is a little rough. The men's match, it was great, but to be fair, you got a bunch of fucking
studs,
technical wrestlers in that match. I mean, who was... It's awful to say who was the worst, but who is probably the least technical in that match? You want to say, in my mind, it's Dom Mysterio.
I knew you were gonna say that because that's what I was thinking. I'm like,
but
you're
but
saying
his persona is to be a character far more than a wrestler.
Yeah, but I do think that Dominic is pretty solid as a wrestler, but I
don't think he's bad.
I don't think he's bad at all. But I think if you look at it from like the experience standpoint, as far as
he's really young still, right?
Exactly, and I think that's why is because if you look at the experience in the ring, all those people probably have a lot more years wrestling experience than Dom officially. You know what I mean?
How old is he? He's like what, 22?
But I don't think Dom's bad, and I think that obviously he gets a humongous pop. Granted, it's negative because he's a heel.
Oh, he's 26, but still, that's still very young.
It's incredible though. But to be able to work with like the caliber of talent that he works with, he's gonna learn so much so fast.
And I mean, you look at everyone else in that match. You got fucking monsters.
Yeah. I mean, literally
Top to
every
bottom.
single person.
And that's not saying that Dominic Mysterio's a bad wrestler. Like he's good. He is good. It's just everyone else might be a little bit better.
So you go through the entire match. They played up the storyline really well where they're like, oh, my God, is Randy coming? Is Randy
And then
coming?
they also did they also threw in the can Cody and Seth get along?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They threw that in there a couple times and
'Cause there's always the eternal struggle for the world heavyweight title.
Of course, which I have my opinions on, but that's fine.
Yeah.
And then I thought they ended the match great. I thought the match ended great.
Yeah. Randy ends up coming out doing the giant spot with JD McDonough off the top, which I thought went really well.
So he's someone who I had no clue who he was.
He's really good, though.
But the second,
He's really
once
good.
he was on top of the cage, and the whoever went up and started like punching him, I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, you knew it was
But
coming.
I was glad that instead of it being some like surprise RKO, it was the teammates threw him into it.
Yeah, like it was totally planned, like a giant
Right,
spot. Yeah.
right. It wasn't like, the guy's trying to hit some insane moonsault, and then it's an RKO. It's no. Randy's teammates went up there, they beat the shit out of him, and then they basically sacrificed him.
Yeah.
And they gave Randy his big spot. He gets his big spot.
He came out, he got his huge pop, he got his huge
He
spot.
looks great.
He looks really good. He actually looks like
Kim
he's
actually
more muscular.
said his tattoos looked pretty touched up.
Yeah.
I said to her, I was like, he's been out a bit. I don't know how long it's been, but he's been out a while, so we probably got him all.
I remember watching
touched
like
up.
an interview where Randy said he gets them touched up like every 6 months.
Well, you told me he gets his hit. At the time, he didn't have any of the extra. He has the back
He had
going
the giant
into
back
the shoulders.
one, and then he had like a couple of random ones.
Yeah,
here, right?
yeah. And you
and
said
then
he gets that all done up.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, obviously he was out for a while. There was the rumors that he was going to come back, which, inevitably were true. He had a great debut again, at Survivor Series. Had his giant spot. They pick up the win only for
leading in. So, you had said to me before CM Punk debuted that you would not be thrilled if he did.
Yep.
And
I
then
said that. That's right.
I was talking to...
That's right, CM Punk enthusiast. I said that.
I was talking to my friend Chris, who was like, yo, if... Shut up, bitch!
I'm working!
I was talking to my friend Chris, who said... fucking getting claps. I was talking to Chris, who said that if CM Punk did debut, he'd be thrilled, because Chris loves CM Punk. Based off of the summer of CM Punk, I don't know, like 10, 12 years ago.
I mean,
that
it's
was.
so the thing is,
But
it's so long ago.
I will say, I was reading articles that said Triple H came down to the War Room.
Mm.
He took over producing. He called for the credits. Everyone backstage, including the wrestlers in the ring, thought that it was over, and he personally called for CM Punk's music. And the only person that knew CM Punk was coming back was Triple H. That's what I read. I have no clue if it's true. However...
Interesting.
Based off of the fan videos.
You talking about you're going to go into Seth's reaction or no?
Yes and no. So, it would seem like it's true. However, I would not put it past WWE to make it seem like it's true.
Yeah.
Right? Because everyone would assume, would WWE let Seth give the double bird to a returning wrestler?
Yeah.
On TV, no. But if they shut television off,
Which
and
they
it
did
just
at the
so
time.
happens to get filmed as a double bird,
Yeah. After the fact, yeah.
to me,
There's a
like,
lot of speculation on this theory.
it could be a shoot. It could be a shoot. I think it's a work.
Yeah, there's so I'm glad that you brought that up specifically because I've seen a bunch of TikTok videos, like talking literally about this from like people like us
Yeah.
who are fans. Just, is it a work? Is it a shoot? What is it? Did he know? Did he not know? And like, a bunch of the people that I watched all think that he knew that he was coming out and that it's all a part of the storyline.
So
If it wasn't, then Seth's just a great professional wrestler.
So that's the other thing,
right?
is
Because that's exactly how you would want to sell it.
and it's off television.
And it's off television.
so he can literally do
whatever
whatever
he wants.
Whatever.
Yeah. So like if this was AEW or any independent company, that's exactly how you would market it and
I
sell
would
it.
say, real or not,
Yeah.
Seth Rollins' reaction is what you want. Because he comes in Raw.
He's talked
next
about
day.
it before.
So he comes into Raw the next day, and, there's CM Punk, and then there's some reaction. And he just goes, that's all the time I want to spend on some hypocrite that talks shit about this organization. And he didn't say shit, but still.
Yeah, they don't
It's
want to dive too deep into the whole history of CM Punk. I was seeing other articles talking about
And
him
you know
not
what?
bringing up Jungle Boy and
So
all that.
the thing, Jungle Boy aside, the only little inkling it might be real is that, according to sources,
You say.
the morning of Survivor Series, CM Punk was not signed.
Okay.
Right? So
Triple
again,
H handled that.
I don't know. I think whether Seth Rollins knew or didn't, you're talking about a professional
He's a
in the
professional.
world of wrestling, where if he didn't know, he knew to respond accordingly.
Yeah.
And
That's
if he,
legit though.
And if he did truly know, then he told his bosses, he was like, you tell me once TV's off and I'm going to go ape shit.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some Joe Blow along the ring that says...
We're going to put Joe Blow right here, right now.
Yeah,
right?
Joe Blow. There's
So
going to be
we're
Joe
gonna
Blow
replace the background.
along the side that's like, yo, I got Seth's true reaction.
Yeah. And I know that Seth Rollins has taken issue with CM Punk in the past. So, like, that's kind of also what makes a lot of fans believe that it's real and that, his reaction is genuine, that, like, he really hates CM Punk.
But they've never, as
had
far as we know, they've never crossed paths,
No.
right?
It's just purely
So
based
to
off
me-
of
to me-
promos and
To me,
you know.
I think Seth Rollins has become such a better actor than he used to be, and he's selling everyone down the river.
Well, this is what you want, though, right? From Seth.
That's exactly what you want.
Because I mean, almost specifically for you, because you hated, and I hated too. So it's really for both of us, I guess. The characters that Seth's been playing. I'd almost
Yes.
rather have you be a real wrestler, cutting me genuine promos from your heart of talking about how you fucking dislike this piece of shit who's
Yes.
been controversial and ruining the wrestling business for you for, however long. Just trying to regain some glory that he had back in whatever year it was. You know what I mean? That's more genuine to me than a lot of these fucking scripted promos that they're cutting today
Yeah.
in WWE.
Yes. That is
I
true.
saw a thing about where Stone Cold was talking about that. He was like, I fucking can't stand these scripted promos. He's like, just let people say what they want and do what they want, because if they talk from the heart, people are going to buy into that shit more than if it's scripted. He's like, I'll never buy into your bullshit. He's like, and that's not a knock on WWE. I love them, but let these fucking people say what they want and do what they want to cut their promos, because if you believe it, I'll buy it.
It's true.
Yeah. And that's how I feel too. If I don't fucking feel like it's natural and believable, like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I'm going to hit the head.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Basement Universe channel. This is the merch shop edition right here. If you click down in the... we don't have any merch, so... maybe one day if you guys follow us enough and love us enough, you know. But this is all getting cut out, so yeah. Bob's been shaking his head this whole time. He doesn't like it. Or maybe he really likes it. I don't know. I'm drunk. Give me your keys. I'm driving. Oh no, I did a thing.
What'd you do?
I raised my hands up and now the focus changed. I didn't mean to do it. Fix. We're lighter now.
All right. Cut in.
So, yeah, I think we've talked enough about wrestling for now.
Do you want to talk about sports?
Yeah, we could talk about hockey.
So the Rangers are significantly better than I ever would have expected.
I mean, let's be honest. They're kind of the tits right now.
They are. Dude, it's insane. So I remember when we recorded the episode of Returning to Hockey, I was like, all right, the Bruins are going to be the girl you want to take to the prom.
Yeah.
And the
They're-
Rangers were just going to be like, you know.
They're like that person, like, on the side that's just like, maybe I'll find somebody, like, well, I'll dance with one of these people.
Yeah, or they were the AV club.
The same person.
Yeah, exactly. And then here we are. Peter Laviolette.
Coaching the Rangers
And
to a
they're-
winning record and then some
Not only a winning fucking record.
number one.
They are on fire. They are on fire.
They're in
That was
fuego.
good.
They're like fucking Dan Marley from downtown back in the day. But really though, it's incredible.
It's wild.
And what's even crazier though, besides obviously we were skeptical about Peter Laviolette and having a new coach
and the Rangers.
and the Rangers in general.
themselves.
But like, it's like a lot of, we were saying this before, it's a lot of changes to implement to one team to try to make them winning.
Right.
And so that happens, and then the season begins. We're plagued with a few major injuries like Filipino, and then Adam Fox, who is arguably
I think
like
he's back now, right?
he's back. So he's back now.
But he was out for like a month.
He was out for a while, and the Rangers were still winning without
Right,
Adam Fox. So if
as a Ranger fan, I was just waiting for the gauntlet to fall.
yeah, I mean, if you're winning games without what is arguably one of the best New York Ranger players, like defensively, offensively, that's
Right.
That's incredible.
Yeah. You know, it's watching them beat the Bruins, I was just,
they
my
slapped the
God.
Bruins.
Yeah,
dude.
and then
they
they
slapped
happen
them.
to lose to the Sabres the next night. But
Yeah,
so be it.
we
you
don't
know.
we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
But still, it's like the
I-
team might be good. Like they might be good.
And like it's funny that you say that because it continues to stay true to form where like the Rangers beat good teams and then they lose to teams that they shouldn't
Always.
they shouldn't be
always.
losing to. Because like the Sabres are not good. Sorry, Sabres fans, wherever you might be.
They aren't.
But they're not good. They're just not. And they embarrassed us.
Eichel went and got a championship
Yeah.
in Vegas,
Yeah. So suck it, Buffalo.
but then they smacked the Rangers that night. So
Yeah.
it was
So
like
it's-
5-1 or 6-2, whatever it was.
Yeah, like the Bruins have been struggling recently. They took a big L to obviously the Rangers. They took a big L to Detroit.
I still think the Bruins are going to be a very good team.
I think they're just struggling. I don't think they're bad. I think they can rally.
I think surprisingly the Rangers are good. If there's anyone in the world outside of the Rangers organization that can say they expected the Rangers to be like this, they're lying.
Yeah, I don't
They're
think
lying.
even Ranger fans like if you're
That's
if
what I
you're-
mean.
If you're a realistic hockey fan,
Outside of our friends.
yeah, outside of our friends, then you had more than a lick of skepticism about
Yes.
the New York Rangers, right?
Because for most teams in any sport, a change of a head coach doesn't mean dick.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It just doesn't.
Change the head coach after a season or two, maybe you'll see a difference. In this case, I feel like last season to this season is a very similar team. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely
New
is.
coach.
There's like maybe a few new players, but
I
like the
think
core.
Last episode, you said, and I agreed, and you were like, oh, we're going to need some time to adjust to the new system.
Yeah. I mean, it's true, though, because he's definitely implemented
it is,
a new system.
Oh, it's definitely true, but for some reason, they adjusted pretty damn quickly.
Yeah.
To where there was no adjustment
I mean,
period.
there's like a very few players that are different, but the Rangers' core is the same.
Is the same.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Like when
And
you think
they're-
of the Rangers' core, who do you think of?
Kreider. Zibanejad.
Panarin.
Panarin.
Like Hedel. At this point, Kako, right?
Yeah,
like those,
Fox.
they're Fox. They're all Lindgren.
Definitely
Miller.
Lindgren.
Yeah, Miller at this point.
Miller.
Like they've had the same players now for a couple of years.
Throw in Lafreniere.
Yeah,
Right? Like
yeah.
he's made his way in there.
He's made his way
He
in there.
struggled in the early.
Yeah, like the newbies are like Trocheck, Wheeler, who have all been really solid.
But
though.
Vinny Trocheck's been a player for a while.
Yeah,
So he's one of those people where when they signed him, I was like, he'll find his way in.
and he did. It took him a couple games, but he's
But you know,
he
I'm
was
okay.
he was on a goal streak
Right.
or a point streak.
And I'm pretty sure Panarin's has a point in every fucking game.
Well, he broke
Oh, against
the record.
Sabres?
He broke the record for most points. I think it was consecutively in a. So I mean, it just goes
Yeah.
to show you how great Panarin really is, and how great the chemistry for the New York Rangers are right
So
now.
I think my prediction for the Rangers at the beginning of the season was if they won one playoff series, I would be happy.
Yeah.
I'm still there
Me too.
because that's where the expectation was preseason,
It's still there.
right? Like win
I'm
one.
not gonna get overhyped.
Win
yeah.
one. You got to win one. That's how I feel. Jets suck. Aaron Rodgers is back from injury. He's practicing.
He's back already? Oh, okay, but he's
Yeah,
practicing.
11 weeks since Achilles. He's practicing. The Giants are, left for dead at
Whatever,
this point.
dude. Yeah. I was just like, whatever for them.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Whatever. Yeah. I got nothing to
Giants,
say about
Jets.
football teams, really.
Knicks pretty good.
I haven't seen them play too much. Every now and again, when I'll watch a Ranger game, I'll switch back and forth.
Yeah.
Fork.
Listen, Chinese food needs a fork.
I'll switch back and forth between them two and decide which one to devour. Probably the Knicks, because
I mean, what's the option?
Yeah. I haven't seen them too much though. But the last time I watched, they, it was like 50-50. They'd get a win, they'd lose.
Yeah,
They'd get a win, they'd lose.
They're a better team than most,
Okay.
but they're not great.
Yeah, I kind of wish that they would trade, like they would make some kind of a.
They got to
blockbuster
figure some
trade.
shit out
Yeah.
with Randall.
Like I don't want to say I want Joel Embiid because I don't
No, I'm
necessarily
not
love.
looking for 58 games a year.
Yeah, like I don't necessarily love him. I don't think he could bring a championship to New York, but I mean, maybe with the right pieces around him, he could be good. But like, I feel like if you traded for him, you'd give up the whole Knicks team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not looking to get rid of R.J. Barrett and everybody. If I could get rid of Julius Randle, then
they already traded the future for a player when they traded for Carmelo, and I love Carmelo.
Yeah, me too.
Loved him, but not a championship.
Yeah, I mean,
Knicks want to win. They got to get some players. That's it.
Yeah, we got some good years out of Melo, and we had the whole insanity thing, but
that was 15 games.
It was yeah.
That's it.
It was just a spark.
But anyway,
totally random.
Anything else?
I mean, we've gone on and on. This has
been very long.
Yeah, it's been way longer than I thought. We've touched on all the topics we wanted to, and possibly then some.
Yeah. It's all because of the Hazy Deepa.
Yeah, it's got us hazy.
And Bob Ross.
And Deepa. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for tasting the brew and joining the crew. Hey-o! I've been waiting for that all episode. But seriously, though, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We hope that you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel here as we're... I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen, and it's not over because I'm holding it up. It doesn't even matter because my arm exists like this right now in this realm.
We'll see you later. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bros Brews in the basement. Peace. Oh, goodbye.